didn't realize that Capcom was going to immediately confirm that the upcoming Trilogy ports were going to be localized, like literally right after it was shown at TGS. I mean, we had to wait like several months after the 3DS port was announced in Japan. Well, that was just really fast, but I will say something. Guys, I know you're disappointed about Capcom saying that TGS would be unmissable for Ace Attorney fans, but why are you taking your anger out on the English social media accounts that have nothing to do with TGS? All they do is talk about the games that are going to get localized. Anyways, in this video, I would like to talk about what I want from future ports of the Trilogy, and heck, even Apollo Justice, since it runs kind of the same. And I'd also like to talk about some predictions that I have for Ace Attorney 7. It's been rumored to exist, but we don't have any official confirmation at the moment. But I'd like to talk about it anyways. So, here we go, let's get started. The first thing I'll talk about is the sprites. Well, I'm not as big on the updated HD stuff as I am on the sprites from the original. I do think that they actually look pretty good in the newer releases. Like, they didn't look that bad on the 3DS, and they're actually looking fine on the upcoming ports. And honestly, the UI for the ports actually looks nice. I'm not really big on the new health bar, and the fact that it's used in Ace Attorney 1 rather than the 5-strike exclamation point system, well, I'll probably get used to that. The thing is, about the new artwork, yeah, I can just accept it for what it is. I mean, it's not like we'll have an option to change the sprites. If we're using the Steam version, then yeah, there might be like a mod or something that allows us to use the sprites, but I'm not really that concerned about that. Anyways, let's get to some stuff that's more likely to happen. One thing that's already been confirmed is that the games will tell us when something has already been examined. And that's definitely a step in the right direction. But I'd also be able to jump to a specific point in the investigation like you could in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Like, you just go to the episode select, and then pick a specific point that you want to go to. Also, I'd like to go straight from point A to point B, because it's real annoying having to go from one place to another place, then another place, and then finally reach your destination. Whether or not that gets changed, I don't know. Is it going to ruin the games? No. But it is pretty annoying that we've had to deal with this for a while. The next thing is case art for Rise from the Ashes. I know that it exists in the iOS port, at least I think it does, and I was disappointed to see that it didn't have case art in the 3DS ports. I was even a bit disappointed to find out that Apollo Justice's 3DS port didn't get case art, despite the fact that the mobile ports did. So I would like to see the cases that don't have case art actually get case art in the case selection screen. The rest of the stuff that I'd like would be extra stuff that the modern Ace Attorney games have. Not really costume packs, because, you know, what's really the point? It's a little bit distracting in the modern Ace Attorney games, and it's a pretty unnecessary feature, if I'm completely honest. What I'd like would be like a place to view CGs for events and evidence, like you could in Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Maybe a music player, but that's about it. I can't really imagine any form of DLC for ports, unless they wanted to go the WiiWare route and make Rise from the Ashes DLC only, but honestly that wouldn't make any sense considering that they put everything together in the 3DS port of the Trilogy. That's all I have to say about the Trilogy and what I want from ports in the future. Next, I'd like to move on to my predictions on Ace Attorney 7, what I think may or may not actually happen. These are just what I think will happen based off of what I know about the series so far and everything that's happened. First of all, Phoenix in the title. I'm pretty sure most of us are expecting that. I'm expecting it to follow Phoenix and Athena in Japanifornia. However, I do think Apollo and khura'in will appear somewhere in the game, possibly near the end. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine that they won't try to find some excuse to put all that stuff in. And like every Ace Attorney game before it, I'm pretty sure there will be a new prosecutor, and he'll probably have some kind of connection to someone in the Wright Anything agency. I know every lawyer has had a connection already to a prosecutor, but, you know, Phoenix technically had connections to prosecutors like twice at least. I mean, he was technically connected to Goda, and we all know by this point that he was connected to Edgeworth. But who knows, it could be someone with a connection to Trucy. I don't really care. Now here's my opinion on the detectives in the game. I think that in Japanifornia, the detective will be Gumshoe unless they decide to introduce a new character. But let's hope it doesn't turn out like Bobby Fulbright if they do something like that. And like I said, I am expecting khura'in to show up. And if there's a case in khura'in, I would expect the detective to be Emma, considering what happens at the end of Spirit of Justice since she went off with Nayuta and khura'in. And more characters from the trilogy will return, like the previous games, whether or not they're actually useful or contribute anything to the series. And I'd also expect another lawyer ability. Not sure if it'll be something good or not, but just expect a new gameplay mechanic or two, because Ace Attorney has a habit of adding stuff like this. And I'm pretty sure that very few plot points from previous games in the series will be addressed. That seems to be common with these newer games. These are my thoughts on the future of Ace Attorney up to this point. Let me know what you guys think. Also consider checking out some of my other videos. I do reviews and all kinds of other stuff. Be sure to leave some feedback to let me know if there's anything you don't like if I'm not really being clear enough with my explanations, you want me to explain my opinions better, that kind of thing. You can also follow me on my social media accounts. I'll put links in the description below like in every video. And now that I'm almost done talking, the end card should show up right about now.